My story today is a lot different than what I usually do. This is a story that I wrote to honor all those who participate in the St. Baldricks Foundation Conquering Kids Cancer campaign. The story is called You Look Like Your Grandpa. When he was first born, Robbie had no hair at all, but his big brown eyes were just like his grandpa's eyes, and everyone said he looks just like his grandpa. When he was little, whenever Grandpa took him to the park or to the store, people would greet them and then say to him, "You look like your grandpa." Grandpa loved to hear that, and so did Robbie, because he loved his grandpa. Grandpa played with him. Grandpa read books to him and took long walks with him and made bread with him. Grandpa loved spending time with him, and he loved spending time with Grandpa. But as he grew older, Robbie didn't want to hear anybody say, "You look like your grandpa." Grandpa was an old man, and he was just a boy. Grandpa's hair was gray, and his was blonde. Grandpa's ears stuck out. Yeah, so did Robbie's. "Grandpa, kids make fun of my ears." What do you care about what they think about how you look? It's not important how you look. What's important is who you are." But it did matter to Robbie, as it does to most kids. He thought that if he could grow his hair out, nobody would even notice his ears. But his parents kept complaining about his long hair and taking him to get haircuts. And when he asked why, they said long hair didn't look good on boys. But he kept arguing about it. He even told them, "Grandpa said I shouldn't care what other people think how I look. What's important is who I am." Now his parents told him he misunderstood what Grandpa had been trying to say to him, but they didn't make him cut his hair. One weekend, Grandpa came by to take Robbie to the movies. Robbie loved going to the movies with Grandpa. He always bought popcorn and drinks. And then, usually after the movies, they would stop by a bookstore and Grandpa would buy him a book or two, or maybe even 3. Now, Robbie looked at his grandfather. "Your hair's getting long. You need a haircut." But Grandpa just smiled and said, "You know, it's not important how you look. What's important is who you are." Now, as they bought their tickets, the lady at the counter said to Robbie, "So, you're spending the day with your grandpa?" "Yeah, how'd you know he's my grandfather?" "Well, you look just like him." And that would have been bad enough, but when they bought their popcorn, the kid said, "Hey, does your grandson want any butter on this? Man, he looks just like you." Grandpa just smiled and said, "Well, thanks." But Robbie wasn't happy. As they settled into their seats, Robbie turned to his grandpa and said, "Grandpa, I don't want to hurt your feelings, but I don't want to look just like you. I want to look like me. I want to look different than anyone." And of course, Grandpa just smiled and said, "It's not important how you look. What's important is who you are." Well, Robbie continued to let his hair grow, and so did Grandpa. Then one day, Grandpa stopped by to take Robbie to a baseball game, and Robbie said, "You really need a haircut. Long hair looks kind of silly on an old man." "Yeah, well, it covers my ears. People don't make fun of my ears anymore." "Grandpa, I know what you're doing," Robbie said. "You're trying to teach me it's not important how you look. It's important who you are." "But how I look is important to you?" "Well, yeah, kind of. I mean, I know who you are, but I kind of care how you look." "And you don't want to look like me?" "Well, you've got all those wrinkles and stuff," Robbie grinned. "Okay, I get your point. I get your point. How about when we go to the game today, I just pull my hair back and I put on my hat? How's that?" "Yeah, that'll work," said Robbie. "But then get a haircut, okay?" Grandpa laughed. "Okay, but "Yeah, I know," said Robbie. "It's not important how you look. What's important is who you are." Now, Robbie was enjoying the game, but then he began to feel funny. His head was hurting again, and now his stomach was upset. He told his grandfather he wasn't feeling very well, and when Grandpa looked into his eyes, he decided that maybe they should head home. Before they could even reach the parking lot, Robbie fell to the ground, tripping over nothing. Grandpa realized that something serious was going on, and he called over to the security guard at the gate, who immediately called an ambulance. A few weeks later, Robbie was still in the hospital. The brain tumor that had been discovered was responding to chemotherapy, though he still had more treatments before the radiation therapy could begin. The chemicals that were attacking his cancer cells had also caused all of his hair to fall out. Grandpa came into the room. "Hey, kid, I know everyone wanted you to get a haircut, but you kind of went overboard." "Very funny, Grandpa," Robbie smiled weakly. "It's not important how you look. What's important is who you are." "I thought you'd be glad to lose your hair. Now you don't look like anyone you know." "Right now I wish I did. I look awful with no hair." "And your ears stick out." Robbie chuckled again. "Yeah, no kidding." "Well, I brought you a hat, like mine, so you can cover 'em up." "Yeah, then I'll look like my grandpa again, huh?" "Well, you know it, kid. You know it."